So, the other day, I made a left-hand turn, and I heard the brake rotor rub against the brake caliper, and I thought to myself, that's not good. Let's tear apart this hub and see what's going on. And you know what that means? Time to put on some gloves. So, with a heavy heart, I began to disassemble that front hub. I pull off the wheel, and as soon as I touch it, I could feel it wiggling, and I thought to myself, this is not good. So I took the entire hub off, put it into the press, and pressed the bearing back together. That's when I realized that I had messed up. I had totally forgotten to torque this axle nut down to its full spec. Oops. But luckily that fixed it. So let's get started on the TL. Ever since I lowered the TL, the rears have had a little bit too much negative camber, and I can start to see a little bit of wear showing. So I did install some adjustable camber arms, so we're going to use those today. I'm using a framing square to bring in that negative camber. I checked my garage floor, it's nice and level, so I'm going to set up this framing square so that it's just touching the curb protector on the tires, so I can measure the difference at the top. I'm just going to do a quick measurement at the top and then do a little bit of geometry. But if you notice, it's starting at 2.5 and it's going up to about 21 7/8. Those are some dimensions that we're going to need. Alright, doing a little math, I now know that that side of my triangle is going to be 19 and it looks like 3/8. So let's start labeling. Measuring that final side, it looks like it's about 9/16. Now that I've got all my measurements, let's do a nice drawing. And I know both sides are going to be slightly different, so let's go ahead and make diagrams for both sides. After we get these drawn up, we're going to label all the information we know. We know there are going to be 2 right triangles. We're going to know 2 of the sides, and then we need to find out that last angle. Once we find out what the actual angle is, then we'll be able to know about how much we'll need to adjust. We're also going to label them driver and passenger side so that we know what we need to do on each of them. So I know the distance on the driver's side is one, and I know the distance on the passenger side is another. And using some internet magic, I can now figure out that the angle for the driver's side is about 1.6 degrees negative camber, and the angle for the passenger side is about 1.4 degrees. I want that to be greater than or less than or equal to 1 degree. So I know I'm going to have to change it so my measurement at the top of the triangle is about 5/16. Now I know my measurements aren't going to be super accurate, but this will be good enough for now until I take it in for a full 4-wheel alignment. I'm not going to do that until I get adjustable front A-arms as well. But since we're starting this project, you know what that means. This is the adjustable camber arm that I installed when I lowered the TL. We'll be using it to move the top of the wheel out, decreasing the negative camber. First, we'll start by loosening the 2 lock nuts on either end, and then we will rotate the barrel to again make the arm longer. Once we're done with that, we'll tighten the last 2 lock nuts and we'll be good to go. We'll go ahead and take some baseline measurements of where the camber arm is at now, so that as we're adjusting it, we'll know how far we've gone out. So I got that measurement bang right on 5/16 of an inch. So we are right where I wanted to be. So we'll take a look at tread and see how it's wearing in the future. Now let's attack that RDX. So what's going on with the RDX? It's the starter. Over the past couple weeks, my wife's gone to start it a couple times and it wouldn't start. It's not the battery. Even one time, you could tell the Bendix wasn't even engaging. But hang on a second. What do we need to start this project? Well, we got that old starter out. And I've already got the new starter ready to go back in. So that just means I need one thing. Alright friends, well I hope you enjoyed this video hitting on the Integra, the TL, and the RDX. Next video, it's going to be all about the Integra. We're going to go through, I'm going to go and introduce it to you properly, go over everything I've done to it and all my plans for it for the future, and then we'll see where we go from there. So once again, I appreciate you going through the gears with me, and I'll see you next time.